Good to go, Sandy?
Yep, good to go.
Okay, this is the January 2022 Historic Preservation Commission meeting. In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, public meetings may be held in person or by means of communication equipment to include streaming services and other online meeting platforms pursuant to NJSA 10:4-8B. Due to the COVID-19 situation, the Borough of Fairhaven's municipal facilities are closed to the public. This meeting is being presented through the Zoom meeting platform and being broadcast from Borough Hall, 748 River Road, Fairhaven, New Jersey. Public participation for this Historic Preservation Commission meeting of January 25th, 2022 is available by call-in phone number or through web conference Zoom. Members of the public will be on mute until that portion of the public questions/comments, which will be announced. At that time, the public has an opportunity to question and or comment by phone or through the Zoom by the quote, raise hand, close quote button, and will be called on at the appropriate time. Notice of this meeting was included in the schedule of meetings sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, the Hub, and the Star Ledger on January 15th, 2021, posted on the Borough website, the bulletin board in the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as required under the statute. Could we have a roll call?
Mr. Pavlock?
Here.
Mrs. Drummond? Mr. Anderson?
Here.
Ms. Mullen? Mr. Schluter? Ms. Mandia?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
And Ms. Nitka?
Here.
Okay, we have some old business items. We have to nominate chair and vice chair for 2022. We have one application on which may be curtailed by a couple of procedural things, and then we have to approve some minutes. So why don't we'll take the old business after we hear the application, and perhaps we can open it up to the only application that we have, which is 40 Fairhaven Road, Block 27, Lot 8. It's Paul Zerlep. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. The work proposed is installation of rooftop solar panels.
If you could use the raise your hand feature. Yep, thank you. And I'll bring you in.
Hey, everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, how's it going? So maybe I can just intro it. I'm gonna hand it off to the solar panel install experts, but I figured I'd just give a little bit of context to the work. Is that okay?
Yes.
Cool. So some on the commission might recall, actually, I was here with my wife, Carrie Norton, a few months ago. We were looking to do a porch. We are excited to get back to that and to finish that work out. But before we did that, basically there were a number of storms that revealed some leaks in the roof. As a result of basically investigating, repairing the roof, it became, there sort of was an opportunity to add solar as well. It turns out that actually we have sort of excellent coverage with the detached garage, which means that we can offset 100% of our power without any front-facing panels for the solar. So we worked with SunPower, Kyle's here to talk a little bit about that, and solar advisors to build the best possible system that would be able to do that without any kind of impact visually. And so, I think that this is a project that I'm very excited to do. It's part of instead of doing the thing that's like add a porch, add this functionality, we're really trying to set up our house so that, it can last another 100 years. So we're doing this, we're going to be doing repair work on the basement, waterproofing. So this is, I think, and this will include a full roof refresh, which is going to, I think, look much nicer than our current state of the roof, which I think is at least 20 years old and sort of a little worn down. So this is all part of, making it look nice and getting it ready for the next phase of its life. And I guess I would just say that, I know that in Fairhaven, we tend to have some power issues. So I think this is a really good opportunity to be able to take one of the houses off the grid. And I think that that's going to be a bigger thing, I think, going forward with all of the hybrid cars coming online and the sort of stress to the grid, I think, is going to be increasing over time. So I think I'm really excited about the project. And then I'll just hand it off to Kyle, who can talk detail.
Oh, before you do, can I just ask you a couple of questions? Because some of the things that we had gone back and forth, I think I actually spoke with Kyle. We had exchanged some emails, and maybe I believe we did speak. And one of the things that we discussed and I indicated is that this commission only has jurisdiction for elements that are visible from a public roadway, from the street. Obviously, it seems as though the only roadway that you would be concerned with, as far as that's concerned, would be Fairhaven Road. And clearly, you mentioned before that the solar panels that you're proposing, and the plans indicate such, are on the rear of the house and also on the gable of the detached garage. Based on that, is there any, and you've provided some photographs, are there any angles or any portions from the street, if you're looking at the house, that you would be able to visualize any of the solar panels?
From the perspective of the garage is like dead on with the street, and because of I don't know what the number is next to us, but because of the Clifford's house, you can't see any part of the garage at all. So anything on the garage is 100% concealed, can't see any of that. There are, I think, very slight angles from so if you're looking dead on the house, if you go basically 30 degrees, there are some angles at which you can see the panels. The panels themselves are matte black, and also there is a tree basically in the way from the street. So if you're walking, actually, the only time in which you could ever see the panels would be dead of winter, and it's only the small section that's behind sort of the main where the roof dips down in the back.
Assuming that that obviously the river side is the north and the river road is south, on which angle do you kind of see any portion of the panel?
So you have to be south of the house, and there's really only a very small angle at which you like. I guess what I would say is I had to check to see that part of the house and whether or not you could see it. So it's very I'd say mild, and it's only within a certain angle. I want to say like 30 degrees. If you're like south 30 degrees.
I walked by and it seemed like you really almost have to like attempt to try to look to stretch, and you only sort of see, you don't even really see the panels. You would probably just see almost like the back of them and maybe the side of one.
Yeah, correct.
Maybe Kyle could speak to that as well, but is that your understanding?
Yeah.
And I assume even looking at the photo that you submitted, that from the north side, even during the winter time, based on the house next door, you wouldn't see anything.
You can't see anything. And you can see the garage, but the side that the panels is on is not this side, which is the only side that you can see ever of the detached garage.
And plus, that would be sort of a straight on angle as well, so you would only see the edge of the panel, I assume. Is that, if anything, is that right?
I actually don't think you're going to see the side of the panel, but yeah, that would be the only thing that you could possibly see from that angle. And again, I'm actually pretty convinced on the detached garage. I tried checking for a view of it from the street anywhere on Fairhaven, and you can't see that. So right. Where the panels will be. So the only possible option of any type of site would be that they would the dead on angle of the detached garage, which would only have an elevated sliver. But I would be surprised if you could see that. Okay.
All right. I guess we'll hear from Kyle unless there's anything else.
Yeah. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Paul, I think that was well said. He pretty much hit the nail on the head. There's going to be 22 total panels, 12 being on the back, an even row of 6 and 6. Then the 10 panels that are kind of scattered on the house itself are on the rear. The way that his roof is kind of set up, as long as we don't touch that front roof, which is not in the plans, you shouldn't see any solar panels. And like you guys were saying, I don't want to butt in, but you'd have to kind of really like investigate and kind of go up the driveway. And at that point, you're not seeing it from the street. So I'm pretty confident that, they'll stay concealed.
So from the curb line, on any angle of Fairhaven Road, you wouldn't think that,
Yeah, no, I had Paul and the sales manager actually take a couple other photos. I'd be happy to share my screen or even send them
Yeah,
over to you.
that's what we need to see. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. So just to give everyone kind of a look on the actual blueprint itself of the panel layout, if my computer ever wants to load. So this would be Fairhaven Road. This part of the roof is what you'll see in another photo, the front house. This is the only roof plane that is visible. And then if we go on over, sorry, let me move this out of the way. This here is that area that I just previously said on the only roof plane that would be visible from the street. This is a dead out on view. And then this, I believe, is what Paul was referring to with that small sliver. And even still here, you really can't see through there. So I'm absolutely confident that, you know, once these panels are laid on there, they will not be visible from the road. And this is kind of just another visual that's just referring that the front panel roof is not going to be touched. So
just kind of a separate question. If in a perfect world, let's say you didn't have to worry about concealing the panels or anything, would you have recommended to get a better system or a more efficient system to use that front revealed portion of the roof that's exposed to Fairhaven Road?
So typically, you know, you want to maximize the amount of space you can use on the roof, but with him having his detached garage, that was kind of like a perfect offset to just really dump any additional panels. So, I mean, being that half his panels are on that back roof, you know, if that detached structure wasn't there, maybe we would have had to design it a little bit differently. But with that detached structure being there, it gave the engineers a lot more room to, you know, kind of play with the offset. And as he mentioned, he actually was able to get 100% offset, which is, you know, at the end of the day, that's what we really want to hit. So
am I understanding that you purposefully used that accessory building that gave you the opportunity to not have to use that front reveal and get the full benefit of the system?
Absolutely, yes.
And that was an effort at like basically trying to prevent it from being visible from the street?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
You know, a lot of other times, you know, people do have the, you know, the aesthetic, you know, so this isn't the only board that, you know, would have raised questions on it. So if we can try to keep them in the back and the sun's hitting there, then, you know, we have no problems laying them in the back. So it kind of, like I said, it really was a kind of perfect system. So the way it worked out.
How do most towns handle it? Have you ever been before a preservation commission or
no, actually, so this is my first time actually in a professional setting. But a lot of the times there's certain townships that have, you know, you have to have all black panels. And then if actually one township, I can't think of the name off the top of my head, excuse me for that. You actually have to get signatures from, I think it's 4 to 5 neighbors that they pretty much grant you permission. And then the only other obstacle, yeah, so that was a first for me. And then the only other obstacle, sometimes you deal with homeowner associations, that it's kind of just the same as like zoning for a building or township. You know, you just got to pretty much run it by them, make sure that, you know, they're all kosher with it as well. So
it's kind of interesting. It's a bit of a dilemma, you know, because who doesn't support green energy? But at the same rate, you know, when you look at what our purpose is here, is that something that was historic? Obviously not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's an interesting problem that we have, and now we certainly appreciate the efforts and the ability that you guys can do to not put us in a predicament where we have to come to any kind of decision on that. I don't know whether there's any other comments or thoughts from anybody on the commission.
I would just say it looks like it's going to have very little impact on the street, and the fact that it's going to provide that kind of energy, it's great. You know, it's wonderful. So in support of it.
Yeah, I support it as well. We have it on the back of our house on the corner of Clay and Normandy, and it's fantastic. So you'll enjoy it in the summer.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, Michelle, I had no idea. I can't even see yours. So
there you go.
Yeah, perfect.
Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Exactly.
Maybe you'll get some business out of this, Kyle.
Yeah, who knows? Well, you know who to go to, Paul. He's got the salesman. So
you got a testimonial in the hood. Anybody? Maybe Sandy, we can open up to the audience if there's anyone in the audience or anybody that wants to be heard. You're on mute.
You could just raise your hand if you want to be heard in the audience. I don't see anyone currently raising their hand.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we approve the application as posed. And some of the background and benefit of that is that ordinarily, if it was just a situation where we heard testimony that no way, no how, you simply just can't see any of this from the street, I would simply just take the position that we have no jurisdiction over it. But, you know, Paul, you indicated that maybe somehow you could see some component of it, but, you know, obviously it would be such a minimal component. I appreciate Kyle providing those proofs. That was something that I kind of hinted at would be a real help.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Seeing that perspective, and obviously effort's been taken to not put us in a position where we have to really rule on this. I think it's a great thing. And the fact that you're able to get what you need and not have to, you know, face it to fair and road, I think is great. So with that, I'll make a application that we approve the application as posed.
I second it.
Thank you very much.
Get a roll on that.
Mr. Pavlik,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Mandia,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
and Ms. Nitka.
Yes.
Great. So because, again, we can't just avoid jurisdiction on this, I'll have to write something up. So I'll put together just a brief memorandum of action. I'll get it to you guys over the next day or so, and hopefully it'll be good to go.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much all for your time. I appreciate you having us and letting us state our case. Paul, thanks for joining. And Mr. Anderson, I hope you have a great time in the Swiss. I heard you talking about it briefly before. I will be in Vail next week, so I'm very excited. And I heard you talking about Stowe, Mr. Pavlik. So everyone stay safe on the mountain, and more importantly, stay safe in this, you know, crazy world of COVID. So mask up and get it done. So.
And
Great.
shred.
Thank you. Yeah, and shred. So thank you very much, guys. Again, are we free to go or?
You are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You're all good.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you. I look forward to
very much,
it.
guys.
Catch up with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
The next thing is approval of minutes. Sandy was nice enough to provide us with copies of the October, November, and December minutes. I know that you guys studied all of those.
Chris is raising his hand.
I'm
Yes,
gonna
Chris.
I'm gonna go jump over to the facilities meeting.
Okay.
I will hopefully, and I noticed that I'm gonna be staggered, so this isn't gonna happen all the time. I'll be able to stay for the entire meeting.
No, that's quite all right. We appreciate you coming.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks, Chris. Thanks.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for October, November, and December of 2021.
I'll second that.
We actually have to approve them separately because different people were at different meetings.
Oh.
Okay. So I will make a motion to approve the October 26th, 2021 minutes.
I'll
Second that.
Okay, so Mr. Pavlik,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
and Ms. Nitka.
Yes.
Okay, now we're on to November.
Yep. Motion to approve the November 30th, 2021 minutes.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, and that is Mr. Pavlik.
Yes.
Let's see, Ms. Mandia,
Miss Mandia.
Oh, yes.
Michelle,
Sorry.
sorry. And Ms. Nitka.
Yes.
Okay,
And finally, motion to approve the December 7th, 2021 minutes.
Anybody?
Oh, second.
okay. Mr. Pavlik,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Mandia,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
and Ms. Nitka.
Yes.
Okay.
And the only other things we have to do is approve chair and vice chair. So nominations.
Would
Art.
Art.
I know, but I don't even know how to really handle it. I don't want to be like dumb about it, but I mean,
through at least 2025. Right.
That's what you
yes.
did. Okay.
I'll second that nomination.
yeah, okay. I'll accept.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you for taking this for as long as you have this and doing an awesome job.
And I'm going to nominate, because you're so nice about that, Jay, I'm going to nominate you as the vice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I second.
Okay.
I
So
second, third, fourth.
let's vote on the chair. Mr. Pavlik,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Mandia,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
and Ms. Nitka.
Yes.
We got everybody, right? Yep. Okay.
And then vice. Nominate Jay Anderson for vice chair.
I'll second.
Thanks.
Okay, so second, Mr. Pavlik,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Mandia,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
and Ms. Nitka.
Yes.
And I don't know, overall, I don't know if there are any comments from the audience as well on any other topics or anything that we've discussed.
No, I was happy with tonight's application that they went out of their way to develop that solar potential and to not have it be a big issue on the street. It shows respect and both for the environment and for the historic district. So
yeah, absolutely, I agree. And I had spoken with the guy, Kyle had called me, and we'd emailed back and forth. He was very responsive and pretty much was very, very interested in learning a bit about what was going on, probably to maybe in the future if he runs into this kind of a situation with additional towns. And we did exactly, the presentation was exactly what I said would probably be necessary, because off the cuff, they just say that it's not visible from the street. And the only photo that was presented was the one head on. We know what that means. You got to see it from an angle, that sort of thing. So they did that, and he was candid. I was kind of surprised, he kind of, by indicating that you could see a small portion of it, you kind of trigger it, where it's easy to just say, no, you can't see it. But once you say that, then obviously it requires that we do something. So, but I thought that was a good application, nice presentation.
It's across the street.
Opposite. Yeah. Anyone in the audience?
It's Susan O'Brien is in the audience, and there's no comment, no hand raised.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else?
No.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All right.
I think we're all unanimous on that.
Oh, unanimous. I don't know. I'm trying to follow the rules.
No, I know. And we can't be like, you can't pick and choose, right?
Okay. Well, Happy New Year's. We can still say that. I get probably.
Yeah.
Have a good trip.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, right. Well, yeah, right. So you're before the next meeting, will you have gone?
When's the next meeting?
Like the end of February.
It's February 24th is the next meeting.
I'll probably miss it in the next meeting, I'm guessing, because it's about 7-8 days, right around then. So
it's Zoom, Jay. You can.
Yeah, there we go.
From the mountain.
The world's much
Yeah.
smaller now.
Alarm.
That's not
Yeah, from my
exactly-
phone. From my phone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There we go.
At 3 a.m. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, there we go. With the
You have to be
Matterhorn.
renominated. You're gonna
Yeah.
already share the
Oh, very nice.
All right, sounds good, guys. Have a good one.
All right.
Good
All
night.
right. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.